Business is really warfare, but it's the activity of life itself. You say, well, business means I need to open up a business. Okay, yeah, that's right. But real activity of life has to deal with all the essentials of life that we must provide for ourselves, our families, our future. I have something in my pocket that, gee, where is it? Oh, yeah. I have a gold coin. In 1961, I was sitting with Elijah Muhammad, and he took out of his pocket a gold coin. This is 1 ounce of gold, pure gold, okay? Mr. Muhammad put it on the table. He said, one day soon, this gold coin will be the new medium of exchange. White people are moving into the inner city. Some of them knocking on doors. They come with money and they ask you for your gold. Because what they're giving you, I think I got some of that in my pocket. Yeah, I think I do. Now this is paper. This is not real money. This is real money. Silver as real money. Now you young people, some of the elders in the audience, like myself, this used to be called a silver certificate. How many old people in here know when this was a silver certificate? And you know what it said on the bottom? Pay to the bearer on demand $50 in silver, the real money. This is what you call monopoly money. Oh, you didn't hear me. We're going to do some business tonight. Because business is really warfare. What's about to happen? This week it came out in the news that in 2016, all the major banks are in trouble. It started with J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. What makes a bank in trouble? When the value of the paper that they have begins to lose its value, then the bank is in serious trouble. And so are we who have our money in the bank. Now, white people that are in your neighborhood, they're in the pawn shop now, and they're telling you in the window, bring the gold, we got cash for you. They know you don't know that this is losing its value every day. But gold will increase in value. Now this one here, I bought it today, or sent a brother to get it today, because I wanted to use it to explain something. 1 ounce of gold, this little piece right here, is 12 have taken Africa. Africa right now is gone. Do you know what they're doing? The Africans and third world countries want to develop. They don't have the money. So here comes the United States behind the IMF, the World Bank, Federal Reserve. Come, we'll give you some money. Here is $1 billion. And they hold that carrot out. Then they say, wait. You must devalue your currency. And just think of this for a minute. Devalue your currency. Now, what is current? Bring that picture out here, brother. What time is it?
These are 2 letters. Okay.
I'm almost there. Can you sit with me a few more minutes? I'd just like you to, they're going to stand here and hold this. This is the serpent that has deceived the whole world. We'll get to him in just a minute. Stay right there, brothers. Now, currency, and current. Current is the flow of electricity from a source to that which receives it. And when that which receives current receives it, it is power to create motion, light, heat, and energy. To diminish the current is to diminish the power coming from the source, then less light, less heat, less energy, less motion. So when the IMF says devalue your currency, they're literally weakening that nation's ability to provide strongly for itself. Now the IMF says after you devalue your currency, you must privatize. This is in the name of a global economy. You must privatize. Now look at this privatization. Privatize means you must sell off the things that government owns as representative of the people, so that private companies can buy your gold mines, your uranium, buy even your means of electricity, gas and water, so that outsiders now come in to buy, then they own the means of production of wealth in that country. So the whole country is working for the IMF, the World Bank, and behind the loan is America buying these people so that when she needs a vote in the United Nations, they will vote with her or punk out and abstain. Africa is gone. They're enslaved now by debt. You see new roads being built, but the price of the new road is that they've given up the gold. They've given up oil concessions. In Mexico, when America bailed out Mexico, they tied the bailout to Pemex, which is the oil producer in Mexico. But the Mexicans were smart. They paid the loan off, but still in debt. You know why Nigeria is a rogue state? Do you know why Libya is a rogue state? Do you know why China is not looked at too well? Listen, there are human rights violations in every country, including this one. That's not the reason that Nigeria is a rogue state. When have white people cared about black people killing each other? Listen to me. They say Abacha killed the Ogoni 9. That's all. We should put sanctions on him. He killed the Ogoni 9. Yeah? When have you cared? More than 9 may have died last night in Chicago. You haven't said anything about blacks killing each other. You're not in the ghettos trying to get us to be more humane. You know why they're saying that Nigeria is a rogue nation? Because Nigeria refuses to borrow any money from the IMF and the World Bank, and 40% of their staff in Nigeria had to go home because Nigeria refused to borrow any money from them. So when Nigeria refuses to borrow, then through careful manipulation of the economy, they can strengthen the Nigerian naira, its currency. Libya won't borrow no money from the IMF. China ain't borrowing any money. We're developing our economy. The IMF is the new slave maker, the World Bank. I talked with a highly placed banker in Saudi Arabia. When I mentioned this, that this is a form of slavery, he didn't deny it. He said, brother, we're only trying to diminish the effects. We don't know how to stop it. But suppose the Muslim world decided to tie their currency to gold so that they would not be the victim of a floating currency that can go up and down at somebody's whim. But if they tied it to gold as a stable anchor for currency, then they could break probably the back of these world serpents.
I'm not self-employed, right? I do for self, which is they run together, right? But a self-employed person owns a job. I don't own a job, right? I don't own a job. I don't have something that where I have to be at every day. I'm an entrepreneur, and every definition of the word in a self-employed person, it's a thin line. It is a line. I ain't gonna say it's thin, but you have to cross over. See, Robert Kiyosaki, the way Robert Kiyosaki teaches the cash flow quadrant, it has 4 categories. All right. One category on the left side, you have employee, self-employed, specialist. Right? That's the people that work for somebody, and then you have the people that own the job. They don't have a boss, but they still own the job where they have to be there. They don't have any leverage. They get taxed the most. On the right side of the quadrant, that's the best side to be in, you have the B and the I. That's the big business owner, the ones who run a system, the ones who run networks. That's the big business owner. See, I fall in the line in that. Then you have the I for insider and also investor. So in the business that I'm in the network that I run, I'm in the B in the I quadrant. Right? Now, it wasn't said maliciously, but I just wanted to make this point because an entrepreneur is somebody that runs systems, or somebody that has a network, somebody that looks for ways to grow their money. So we're always looking for investments. Do you know in the Supreme Wisdom Lessons, in the problem book itself, it talk about an investment?
I would like to see at least 100 millionaires among the Muslims in Chicago. If you're rich, I'm rich. And I could always come and tell you about the needs of a nation. But if you poor and we poor, we can't be around here poor. I want to see rich Muslims.
All right, greetings everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings to wherever you might be tuning in from. If you're a Muslim on the line and you're tuning in with us, Ramadan Mubarak, for this episode of not Project Exodus, but we do have Project Exodus 10,000 going on. But this is Business is Warfare, our broadcast, the second longest broadcast that we have been doing. Now, this broadcast, we strategically show what my spiritual teacher, my spiritual father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, has been teaching about the synagogue of Satan, have been teaching about the bloodsuckers of the poor, or Illuminati, whatever you want to call the powers that you think that be the ones that run the Federal Reserve, the ones that run the print of the dollar, as you heard him talk about in 1998, right? We want to get after that. We want to help our minister and help our nation and help our people understand that this is also an economic warfare we have going on. We also have a solution for this warfare. So we put this broadcast together to help unlock that science, because in Forward Money Network, as a new millennium banker, we teach the science of money, banking, and business, and also teach the science of networking and warfare, right? So we teach those science here, but we're not charging anything. We're just asking you to take a look at our network, and we want to put some on your mind so you can think. All right? We want to put some on your mind so you can think. We don't really care if you accept it or not. If you say you can't debate it, you can't argue it, right? Because we have the facts on it. And we're just showing you what has happened to America, the American economy, since 1913. So this is our broadcast. So let me open up in the proper manner. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, the Son of Man, the Lord of the world. I could never thank him enough for intervening in our affairs and coming from the holy city of Mecca and coming to America to find the first begotten of the dead, to find a man that had a heart like his, that man that had been through everything that we have been through, a man that was a descendant of slave, a man that he was so deep in the mud, he said only you can only see his eyeballs. He was a drunkard, but he also had a family, but he didn't have enough money really to take care of them, and he was on alcohol. And I'm talking about none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is the most misunderstood black man that ever walked in America. Some of y'all still mistake who that man was, right? But you might like his students. You might like some of his followers. You might love some of us. You might even like his children. but you don't want to bear witness to the tree. How you going to like the branch but don't like the tree that produced the branch, right? So we thank Allah for giving us the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, because it had to be a man that was humble, that was meek in spirit, and that loved us so much to take what we was going to put on him, not the enemy. Allah got the enemy, but what his own people, who he came to save, who he came to resurrect, who he came to get out of the mud, put on him. And we thank Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who we know is alive, well, and in power. But if it wasn't for the man that you heard speaking before them short videos from myself promoting our new series on IGTV, Luxury Money and Good Home Problem number 13. If you haven't been tuning into that, please go follow us on IG, Fard Money Network, and my personal page on IG is Fard Mahdi. Now, we thank Allah for giving us the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, but we have to further thank Allah and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad for finding another man, because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad stood up for 44 years teaching this science, teaching the reality of God, teaching that the black man is God. And he didn't just teach it, he lived it. But that wasn't enough. So he knew he was going to have to leave and get away from among us. So they had to prepare somebody else to get us through the next phase, to get us across the burning sea, across that fall, across, get us in the ark, safely in the ark, as we know it. So we thank Allah for giving us the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If it wasn't for this man, I wouldn't be here talking to you. We wouldn't have these books that we have. We wouldn't be going by Muhammad and Shabazz. None of that no more, right? Where if you would be a Muslim, you would be old passive Orthodox Muslim, right? Because that's all they is, right? But this is not that type of platform. This is in the holy month of Ramadan. We still love our brothers and our sisters. However, they just don't have that revolutionary spirit, because on one sense, on a true sense, they still believe in the mystery God. So they still praying to Allah. That's a spook. That's why they have no power against Satan. You want to get you some power against Satan? Well, you got to see him for who he is. But first, you got to look in the mirror and see yourself for who you is. So that's what we teach in the Nation of Islam, is the embodiment, God's physical presence, God's presence on the earth. We ain't telling you he coming. We telling you he already here. And the closest example that you can see to God being a man is to take a strong look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's just the truth. So we thank y'all for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the Final Call newspaper, please text FCN to that number running at your screen and get the latest edition of the Final Call. We do mail-in. We also do digital. All right. We accept payments from Cash App, and we also accept cryptocurrency for our newspapers, right? If you're dealing with me. Okay. Then, why you say that? Because I'm an independent distributor of the Final Call newspaper. All right. And if you want to donate to Muhammad's Economic Blueprint, then go to that website, run at the bottom of your screen, www.economicblueprint.org. And if you want to participate in Project Exodus 10,000, if you want to learn all about decentralized blockchain banking, where you can get your money out of the enemy's hands, you can get your money out of his banks, you can literally stop using his bank if you want to. And after we show you what we show you, hopefully you will raise up a little higher. You will be raised up a degree higher in consciousness when it comes to these bankers. Because if you knew like I knew, and if you knew what was in this book right here, if you understood it, right? If you understood what was in this book right here, you would not, when no black person in America have a bank account. What we need them for, right? And we would be trying to find a way, how can we stop using the dollars, right? If we understood just this book here, it's not a big book, not like that, right? If we had this book, and I don't care about you read it. Don't tell me you read it. If you got a job and you told me you read this book, you know what you're telling me? You didn't understand one piece of it, one aspect of it, right? Because this tells how the Zionist satanic Jews gain control of the Black American economy. So I'm going to say that one more time. If you read this book, don't tell me you understand it if you still go and work for somebody. I don't care who you work for. If you work for anybody other than yourself, right? And I'm talking about being an entrepreneur, but we talking about getting in systems. We talking about getting in networks. We talking about getting in institutions. We talking about making investments. Because if we don't get rich, and I mean really, really rich, that's why the minister asked. I played the video of him asking for 100 millionaires just in Chicago in 1990. Why would he do that? Now, if he the Messiah, if he the Jesus of our day, and he is, now if it ain't about money, then why would the Messiah ask us to get rich? Why would he want to see rich Muslims? Why would he want to see us wealthy? Why would he ask for that many people like that? Why would he be trying to pull us together economically? He ain't talk about economics, right? Because we have to set up righteous systems and take control of our economy and take control of our communities where we stay. Matter of fact, before we get into the broadcast, because I done got excited. So when I get excited, I want to hear from the man of God. So I want to hear from him. So let us go to the clip. 3-minute clip from 1998, Savior's Day, Part 2. What is Islam was the title of this lecture. 1998, straight from Mars Marion. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked for 100 millionaires. And we're going to keep singing this song because why? Hey, you can do all the preaching you want. But if you can't bring some type of economic resources to the people, then you are just preaching. Right? In this day and time, where we got teenagers getting rich and you still working on the job, no knock if you are. You just need to raise up in consciousness. You need to understand money. Because the average person working a job is working a job that they don't want to work. Doing something that they don't want to do. Doing something that they either overqualified for or underqualified for. But you don't have your time. It's about being free. See, the God that came, he wants us to be free. So our mind can be clear so we can fight this enemy. Because you can't fight him part-time. He got to be fought full-time. All right? And that's why for 68 years, 67 years, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been on his job. And that's raising us in consciousness in condemning America and the Zionist Jews and all the false preachers and false imams, whatever religion you in. That's why he's been doing that for 67 years. And he ain't stopped. And he ain't going to stop. Because he's a man that dies on his post. When you are anointed and appointed by the Supreme Being, you don't have a retirement plan. When you die, or until we free, until we accomplish the goal, you run the race. And the race is never to the swift. Always to those who can endure. And clearly, the minister has been able to endure for almost 7 decades in teaching us the nature and the science, not just teaching us this, but showing us this. For almost 70 years. He's been showing us this. Almost 45 years absent his teacher. He's been showing us what a resurrected black man looked like. What a black man looked like on the elevated state. What a black man looked like that's in tune with his nature. In tune with the will of Allah, 100%. He's showing us a perfected man. Say, some of you Negroes, oh, you saying he's perfect? I didn't say that. I said perfected. What is perfected? How do you reach perfection? See, you will say that ain't nobody perfect, but then you will say that the only man was perfect was Jesus. Well, if Jesus can be perfect, then I can be perfect. Because he was a man of flesh and blood just like me. He had a physical father. He had a biological father. He had a biological mother just like me. So if you say that about Jesus and you don't believe that for yourself, then you's a hypocrite. Then you really don't believe that. You just talking because you was taught that from a baby all the way up until you was grown. You can't be perfect. People have been telling you what you can't do all your life, but then they turn around and tell you this is the only perfect man. See the foolishness? See, we can't attain the perfection and become perfect until we see a perfect example on how to be perfect. So if you understand the Jesus of the Bible, you understand that he comes just as an example. He's the connection. He's the door to get us back 100% in the bosom or in connection to the Supreme Being. If you understand him, he ain't to be worshiped. He never told you to worship him. He never said that. He never said that. He never said it. But listen, perfection only means that you are in tune and in harmony with your will, which is the will of the creator, the originator. It don't mean that you won't cuss, that you won't snap and might slap somebody. It don't mean that, right? It don't mean that you might don't have a negative thought, don't come up. It just means that you are in 100% submission to your nature. That's perfection. That's perfection. And the minister has reached that stage in his development. So we're all gods in the classroom of the supreme God. But the minister in the classroom has reached the highest I got out of kindergarten. Because the most of us, we still in preschool with the knowledge. We still in kindergarten. We ain't even out of kindergarten. Some of us we ain't even reached preschool yet with the knowledge and how to obtain to this perfect righteousness, right? So you hear the minister say damn or hell, that don't mean he ain't perfect, he cursed. Man, shut up. That do not mean that. You got to get an understanding on what you think perfect means, right? Perfect means that he's perfect in deeds and thoughts, in his desire, in his nature. He's secure with who he is. That's why you little Negro run around talking about the minister that did this and did this. You got a Negro run around saying that the minister sold the nation out to Scientology. Niggas, shut up. The Scientology, Dianetics is an app. Ain't nobody in the nation running around claiming or teaching Scientology, right? Dianetics is an app. It's technology that pulls engrams out of the brain. And who has more engrams in them than a black man that was born and raised in America? A black woman that was born and raised in America. Who got more engrams than us? So we need it. So L. Ron Hubbard, he didn't come up with it, right? That's who Allah put the face on it to bring it out. But the minister seen it as a tool to use us because when you can get the engrams out of you, the clearer you can think. You just don't study the brain power, so you don't know nothing about Dianetics, and you don't know nothing about the engrams that you do have. Guarantee you, I got a bunch of them, right? And I need to take the time out to get audited to get my engrams up out of me. I have a whole bunch of them, right? See, sometimes you have engrams, you wonder why you procrastinate about certain things, them engrams. It affects your sharpness of your brain. It affects the movement. It affects you being really decisive about certain things. Them engrams. You don't know it's that because you don't know your brain. You don't know yourself, right? So that's what it is. So you have a lot of folks talking about this. You know, a lot of folks, they still talking about, you know, after everything that came out, you still got silly Negroes talking about the nation killed Malcolm, where the man named Ray Woods, who was the undercover police, who was there at the time, at the scene, Malcolm, got arrested at the time, at the scene when Malcolm got killed, and literally vanished because he was an informant for the government. He was an informant for the NYPD and the FBI. He was a planning agent, but he got arrested. We uncovered all of this, and he died down here in Tampa, Florida, and he wrote a letter to his cousin back in 2012 when he knew he was on his deathbed. Yeah, telling us all of this stuff. But you Negroes know that, and you ain't came and apologized to us. Because I wasn't even born in 65, right? But they still tell me, yo, cute mouth. I wasn't even here, bro. So how you gonna convict me? They ain't no. So why you don't condemn all Christendom for killing Martin Luther King? Huh? Because they got a man, I don't know if he died yet, but he was locked up in Alabama State Prison. Matter of fact, I was on the prison yard with him. They had him in lockup. He was the Klan member that got convicted for killing Martin Luther King. Christian. But you ain't even got the guts to condemn the whole government of the United States for that. But with us, y'all killed Malcolm. Shut up. Just shut up. You're a hypocrite. You're a scared to death Negro. You're scared of your enemy. Because we know that the Klan and the government killed Martin Luther King. Why we think if they killed Martin Luther King, who was an integrationist, who wanted to be the brother of the government, the brother of the white man, then you got Malcolm X on the other side talking about separation, don't want to be the brother of the white man. So if they killed Martin, why wouldn't they kill Malcolm? Something to think about, right? But forget all of that. If the Klan member was a Christian and he did that work for the government, why you don't condemn the government? Why you still paying taxes then? Why you won't adopt our program of separation yet then? Huh? I mean, I'm just saying, these are just logical questions you got to think about, right? Because the Klan member, he was a Christian. I was on the yard with the man that killed him. I did time with him. They had him in lockup, though. So you had to go to lockup to actually see him. And I went back there one time and I saw him. He was in a cell by himself, 23 hours a day. He didn't come out only by himself. He was old then. It was in 2006. It was in 2006, 2005. Yeah, he was there. Everybody on the yard knew he was back there. Yeah, Christian. What about what happened with what's coming out of Rome? See, we don't want to get too deep into that, but we want to just talk about this stuff because the time is here now. You gonna do what you gonna get on the side of Allah, or you gonna get on the side of Satan? But you gonna pick a side today, because we making both realities crystal clear. Allah is a man. Satan is a man. And the community of Allah is the nation of Islam specifically, but black people in general. In the children of the community of Satan, Yaqub, is the Zionist Jew, and majority of those Gentiles running around. But his strongest and his best followers, Yaqub, are the Zionist Jew. The ones that we finna talk about right after we play this clip of the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan saying that he want 100 us Muslims. But that's really like 100 black people, because if you're black, you're already a Muslim. That's your nature. But he's gonna talk about that too. But he want us to be millionaires. Name me one person that had a job that became a millionaire. And a millionaire meaning a type of mindset too also. But he wanted us to understand money, understand banking, understand business development, understand entrepreneurship. Because some of y'all, that's why I made that clip, that video saying that some of us, see, I'm an entrepreneur. I got a network. And I got a product that I distribute out of my hand. But some think that, oh, he's self-employed. No. It is a big difference, right? I just understand the difference. You don't, because you don't have a financial literacy. You're not financially educated to talk about finances. So you don't understand the difference between these terms. Just like the majority of us don't understand the difference between real money and currency. And it is a difference, big difference, right? One is a medium of exchange that don't hold value, and one is a medium of exchange if we want it to be, and it holds value over time. That's money. Money has to be a store of value. Without it being a store of value, you can't call it money. But it has to be fungible too. It has to be a unit of accounts. It has to be all of that. It has to be all of those things. But listen, if you haven't got this book, what you waiting on? You afraid? You don't want to know this history? This is your history. This is why we in the financial condition that we in. Matter of fact, this is the reason the world is in the financial condition that we're in. It's in this book right here. You don't believe me? Why else would Amazon? When have you seen Amazon ban a book? When have you seen Amazon ban a book? Well, they banned it because the Zionists told Jeff Bezos, get the books off your website before we shut your whole site down. The Zionists got that type of power. They can shut Amazon down. Straight up. But listen, let's listen at the minister ask for these 100 millionaires. 24 years ago.
Satisfied until we have the college level on the University of Islam. And if you help me by doing what you can in the economic field, Muslims, you shouldn't be around here looking to white people to give you a job. Go look in Message to the Black Man and the Economic Blueprint. And if there are 4 of you, 6 of you, 8 of you together, pool your resources, go into business and set up business all over the south and west side of Chicago. I would like to see at least 100 millionaires among the Muslims in Chicago. If you're rich, I'm rich. And I can always come and tell you about the needs of a nation. But if you poor and we poor, hell man, we can't be around here poor. I want to see rich Muslims. And if you obey Allah, there's no reason why you can't make a business successful. You just have to get up and stop being lazy and trifling and go do something for yourself. So we're going to put together a trade delegation of Muslims and, well, everybody's a Muslim. But there are those who have not confessed Islam, but they are brilliant in business. We made promises to governments, and we're going to fulfill our promise. There's all kinds of investment opportunities. Diamonds, gold, uranium, oil. I mean, you name it, Africa is open. And the Europeans are coming in with money and they're taking Africa. Well, why can't we go? They're ready to sell gold mines to us. They're ready for us to develop gold. Well, where's Michael Jackson? Where's Shaq O'Neal? We need to pull our moneyed people together and let's do some business now, because we can't build a nation on the charity of the believer. We can only build a nation on a strong economic foundation that's built on business, agriculture, agribusiness. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So you heard it from him, all right? So you can debate it. You can think talking about money is taboo. All right. We ain't saying we never say this is Far Money Network. We know that's why we ain't get the love like we should. Don't worry though. Don't worry. Because the sun is still out. So the stars can't be seen. When the sun out, you don't see no stars in the sky, but they still up there. Right? So don't worry. Don't worry. I can supposed to be thousands of people on this stream right now. Don't worry. The time is coming. Right? We just gonna keep pushing. We don't worry about who not supporting us. We know why you don't want to, because you don't really want to separate. But we ain't tripping. You gonna separate one way or another. Either you gonna separate or you gonna die with the enemy. Ain't no straddling the fence today. You gonna make up your decision. Whose side you gonna be on? So let's take a look at the Federal Reserve. Now, this is their website. They got videos up here for you. They got all type of information up here. And they tell us what their function is supposed to be about the Fed. The Federal Reserve is the central bank of the United States. It performs 5 general functions to promote the effective operation of the United States economy and, more generally, the public interest, the Federal Reserve. I ain't going to read all of that, but let's show you the board members, who are all Jewish. Jerome Powell, he's the chairman of the board, Jewish. Michelle W. Baldwin, Jewish. Lael Brainard, Jewish. Christopher Waller, not sure. I think he is, though. We might have to do some research on that. Let's go through the banks. Let's go through these banks, these Federal Reserve banks. There's 12 of them, right? Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Richmond, Atlanta, Chicago, St. Louis, Missouri, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Missouri, Dallas, San Francisco, and the board is in Washington, D.C. 9. Each president, now y'all check this out. Each president has 9. Each bank has a president over the 12. Oh my goodness. I just thought about something. So we've been doing this. I had to take a detour right there because this thought, Allah just put this on me. This is 13. So you got 12 cities, and the board is the 13th in Washington, D.C. The chairman sits over the whole board. Wow. Master Fard Muhammad came and brought us problem 13. Twice. This is what we've been uncoding and going over in Luxury Money, Good Homes, Friendship, and All Walks of Life every morning. Well, Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been dealing with problem 13. Now, I just peeped that. This is 13. So this is 13 cities that the Federal Reserve has a stronghold in. It's 12 banks, but the main one, the headquartered one, is the 13th one, and that's in Washington, D.C. Now, out of the 12, they each have a president. 9. I want y'all to say it with me good. 9 of the 12 are Jewish. So some of y'all run around here with this pyramid thing on your mouth. You wouldn't know a pyramid if you was looking at it right now. You wouldn't know what a pyramid looked like. This is a pyramid. This is the ultimate pyramid. This is the ultimate pyramid. This is it. Here it is. You want to know why it's a homeless problem? You want to know why it's a poverty problem? You want to know why it's war on the planet? Here you go. You lay the blame right here. You ain't got to go nowhere. It ain't in the East. It ain't none of them Muslim nations over there. It ain't Russia. You tripping if you think it's Russia. It's right here. And we don't want to hear about, well, Russia shouldn't have invaded Ukraine. Yeah, they might have should have. But where was you at when the United States invaded Iraq? Oh, no. What about when they invaded Iraq back in the early 90s? Or in the 80s? Then Clinton came back and invaded them again with Desert Storm. Then they came back under the sun bush. Where was you at then? Where was you at when Barack Obama sent troops and they invaded Yemen, Somalia, Libya? Where was you at? We didn't hear you then. For your own people. But soon as the enemy or the Caucasian get to start warring with themselves, what they've been doing for hundreds of years, been plenty of wars in Europe against Caucasians against Caucasians. That ain't nothing new, right? It just might be new to you because you over here, right? And you don't know the history. But it ain't new to us that know. But where was you at then? I ain't see you then. We ain't hear nothing from you though. Right? When NATO and they all up in Syria. Where you at where you at about the Palestinians? You ain't saying free Palestine. Where was you then? What that going on still right now? But you ain't got nothing to say about that though. That's an invasion. And that invasion of Palestine from the Israelis or the so-called Israelis, the Zionists, that's been going on since 1948. That's an invasion. But where was you at then? And we can go down the list. It's so many of them that NATO then did invasion. Hell, they invade the black community every day. It's an invasion. But listen, they invaded America and took this land from the Indians. That was an invasion, right? But we don't want to say nothing about that, man. The minute we understand this government and understand that we ain't got nothing good coming from this government, the minute we will accept our program of separation and we will be free overnight. But anyway, and they also have an open market committee where they decide what they're going to do with the money that's coming into the Federal Reserve from bank fees, taxes, and transactions. Yeah. Now, Federal Reserve, none of these banks that I showed you can you just walk in there and deposit your cash in there. It ain't that type of bank. It really ain't a bank because they don't have nothing on their balance sheet. They don't have no reserves. They don't have nothing. They got a zero balance, but they write checks with a zero balance. If you go to your bank and try to do that and see what happens to you. All right, you go to your Lear's credit union, take out a checkbook, go write a bank, go try to cash the check with no money in that account and see what happens to you. All right, so there's a legalized stuff we're dealing with. And this is what they have sanctioned, and this is what they over right now to this day. And this started back in 1913. They over this debt right here. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this. $30,395 billion in national debt. Per citizen, $91,315 per taxpayer. Woo. $242,000. Now that's a hell of a thing. So every citizen. So that means babies and all. Y'all gotta understand this side. Babies and all. So you mean to tell me babies, children that don't know nothing about money, currency, debt, credit, nothing. They already born with a $91,000 debt tag on them. Taxpayer, oh Lord, $242,000. Wow. Look at the federal spending, $6.2 trillion. But the actual spending down here say 6.3, almost $6.4 trillion. Look at the GDP. Look at the United States debt to GDP ratio. It's over 125% in the red. Wow. Then we got the total debt, which is about to hit $90 trillion. Now this is what they show us. Credit card debt, look at that, $1 trillion. Student loan debt, $1.7 trillion per student. Almost $40,000 per student. Credit card debt per holder, $6,500. Personal debt per citizen. This is ridiculous, man. This is a bubble. When this bubble bursts, what you think gonna happen? Money creation. All this signs here. Look at that. You got two presidents that try to create a currency almost 100 years apart from each other. And they both got assassinated. In 1862, President Lincoln issued $450 million directly from the United States Treasury. These debt-free, interest-free notes were known as greenbacks. President Lincoln ended up dead, gunshot wound to the head. On June the 4th, 101 years later from President Lincoln, 1963, President Kennedy signed Executive Order 11110, issuing $4.3 billion directly from the United States Treasury, bypassing the Federal Reserve Bank. These debt-free, interest-free notes were known as silver certificates. Kennedy died a few months later. Now, let me pull that back up. Kennedy died not a few months. He didn't die a few months later. He got assassinated a few months later. Y'all don't see the correlation to this. And they're telling us this right in their face. This man is bold. This man don't care because he know you will go and read it and won't understand it. If you go and read it, they got you chasing the dollar, the almighty weak dollar. You don't got time to look at nothing like this. You ain't gonna research this. You're gonna hear me talking, and you will find a reason not to listen to what I'm saying. Say, I don't like him. I don't like the way he talk. He's too aggressive. I don't like him. So soft ass on. Go ahead and roll over and die, punk. Yeah, it's time for us to talk like that. You's a punk. You can't stand this. You can't stand the truth because how it comes to you. That means you's a sissy. You's a faggot. You's a chump. And that goes for anybody who the shoe fits. That's what it means. That's what that means. Go ahead and switch off the stream. Keep letting the Federal Reserve do what they've been doing to you. That's a hell of a thing for a man to tell you the truth and you say, well, man, you know, he talking too strong. I don't like the way he said that. You know, you heard that nigga? I don't like that. Man, we is crazy. Boy, we is delusional. We crazy as hell. But listen, God said he was coming to free and save a crazy people. A hard, stiff-necked people. Hear the truth and just find a... See, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. Don't get mad at me. You should be mad at the Federal Reserve. Take that anger out on them. But listen, family, you think that's a coincidence? Both of those presidents created a debt-free note outside of the Federal Reserve control, and they both ended up outside of the central bank control, and they both ended up dead. The last two presidents to get assassinated. And you think that's a coincidence. It tells you under Lincoln specifically, the Federal Reserve bypassing the Federal Reserve Bank. Wow. Wow. But listen, family, we're going to have to do a part 2 to this to get to that article about Russia next week. So tune in next week, but we got to go. We're going to keep this an hour. And if I offended you, I apologize, but you might have needed it. If I offended you, I do apologize because I'm your brother. It ain't towards you. It ain't towards nobody on this stream specifically. But we got to toughen up because this warfare is real. The Jew is a guerrilla. They playing guerrilla warfare on us with this money and with everything else. So we ain't got time to be tiptoeing. We ain't got time to make excuses for them. Because Zionists will hear with this stream and won't even come out and try to defend it. But you will have our own people that look like me will try to defend these bankers that they know nothing about. Know nothing about. Let me give you a quick story. We made a video, excerpt of a video where it talked about why our tax dollars paying reparation to Israel. And a so-called Hebrew Israelite, my wife put it on TikTok. A so-called Hebrew Israelite jumped on there and said, we pay taxes to Israel because they are our allies to protect them against from being attacked in that region. This is what a black man said. See how foolish we are? But that ain't got nothing to do with it. We paying reparations to them. We upholding them. Israel got more military might than anybody in that region. They can wipe that whole area out. They got more nuclear armament than any nation in that Middle Eastern region. I'm talking about Saudi Arabia, Iran, Pakistan, all of that surrounding area. They can wipe that whole area out. They don't need one penny from America. But we still getting it, and it is our tax dollars that pay it. $3.5 to $5 billion a year go to Israel from us. Talking about allies. And they ain't gave us one penny, and you Negroes run around scared to talk about reparations. Scared. That means you're scared. So the government Satan got you. You will not make it to the hereafter being afraid. So you got to worry about that. So in this last war, in this war Armageddon, as it heats up, and as all of this stuff that we see going on in these foreign nations comes over here, you won't make it being afraid. And all we got to do is come together. Then we could demand some reparations from the government. But as long as we divide it, can you imagine a so-called Hebrew Israelite making an excuse for why our tax dollars paying Israel? Can you imagine that? And he think he learned. Boy, Satan is the master deceiver. That brother has been deceived bad for him even say something like that. He'd have been better off just saying that we do that because they are our allies. That'll sound a little better, but he said to protect them from the nations in that region. Name me one country over there that has attacked Israel. Just one. Just one. They've been there since 1948. And we've been paying them reparations since 1948. Almost 80 years. About what, 72 years or something like that? 74 years? Right. Protect them from who? Themselves? Because they the ones starting the wars. Who they going to do? Go to war with NATO? They in NATO. They ain't going to go to war with no NATO country. They in NATO. In fact, they run NATO. And they on. Right? So what other aid do they need? But that just show you our mind and how we don't understand that these people have usurped our identity. And they running around over there in the Holy Land, that's our land, claiming to be us. Well, we are the real children of Israel. That's us. That's why the minister made a lecture to it. How many of you watched it? And he released this book. You need to get this book. And not just get it and don't read it. You need to get it and read it and comprehend it. And ask questions. Look up words you don't understand. You can go do a fact check, do cross-reference if that's what you need. But everything quoted in here comes from the so-called Jews themselves. They're rabbis, they're historians, they're professors. Yeah. They're professionals. That's why the minister asked him. They wanted him to denounce the book. He said he'll denounce it if they will stand up and say that everybody that we quoted in the book is a liar. He said if they do that, he'll denounce the book. Think they're going to do that? Because that'll throw their whole history in the bus, under the bus. Because that's who we quoted. They historians, they rabbis, they leaders, they people. We only quoted they people. That's why you need the book. That's why they took it down. They can't have this freely, willy-nilly just up there, even though they know you don't want to read. But this is the light that'll penetrate your mind. And it'll make you accept and it'll make you love the nation more. Because I just thought about this the other day. I love the research team for putting this together. This book is that powerful. It'll change your whole mindset about money, banking, networking, and business. You wouldn't even be thinking about them little rinky-dink little businesses you thinking about. Them little businesses that ain't gonna even get you rich. If you accomplish your goal, you ain't even rich at the end of the day. You wouldn't even think about that. You'd be thinking way on a bigger scale if you comprehend it. Because these people took over the American economy, the black economy started in the Jim Crow South, or started in the South as peddlers. They was peddlers first. Then they started setting up stores. They started setting up banking. They set up the debt and credit scam. Yeah. And they came and did all of that under the guidance of the House of Rothschild. Because they was already banking. The Rothschild is the first known bankers of this world. The Rothschild. All right? People don't even want to talk about it. They don't even want to mention them. But listen, their time has come because the God is on the scene with his Christ in their Messiah. So their end is here now. But the beauty of it is they know it's their end. So they're trying to take you with them. And they're trying to turn our people to make them unfit to stand in front of the Christ or the Supreme Being. Well, you definitely can't stand in front of the Supreme Being. But to stand in front of the Christ and the Messiah, they're trying to make us unfit. And they doing a good job at it. But the war is just getting started. Why? Because more of our people are waking up. And the enemy is still killing us. Every time they kill, the police kill an innocent black man, it wakes us up, makes us close ranks even further. How long we going to suffer this? I don't know. Right? But the time is ticking. So if you want to survive the fall of America, you better understand, get an understanding of the money and what you're going to do now. So we had the opportunity to thrive right now. We don't have to wait because there's a crisis going on right now, so we can thrive right now. And you got all this technology coming from the Caucasians. I don't know why we don't understand how to see good allies. We don't know how to make allies do it. That's what we don't know how to do. We too color conscious. Color conscious, but you go to work every day. Color conscious, but you on social media using their platform. But you color conscious. Color conscious, but you driving their cars. Color conscious, but you wearing their clothes. Color conscious, but you're paying them taxes. We'll get it one day, though. We're going to wake up. And by the help of Allah, I'm going to be one of the ones to help us wake up. Because I'm going to keep this book in your face until you get it. I want you to see it. Because the first time I saw it and I heard the minister talk about it, that what made me want to read it. I said, I had to read it from what he said about the book. I said, I got to get that. Got to get that. And when I got it, my whole mindset changed when it came to money and business. Whole mindset changed. It was like an instant change. Like, what? Yeah. It's that powerful. If understood. All right. With that being said, family, we'll see y'all next week on Business and Warfare. And if you're on IG, we'll see you in the morning at 9 o'clock. If you're on our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right. And we apologize. I get excited, man. You know, I get excited. I shouldn't have played the minister that many times before I started doing it. That's why I can't listen to him. I get excited. I'm sorry. I get excited. It ain't defending you. When you hear that lion roar, and then he taps and touches your nature and touch what's in you. So now you want to roar, man. But if I offended anybody, apologize. But it might was for you then. You might need to just, do a character check, do an identity check if that hurts you, right? But if it didn't hurt you, don't worry about it. Don't have those feelings for somebody else, right? Don't you have those feelings for somebody. If it didn't affect you, if it didn't offend you, don't worry about it then. It means it wasn't for you, all right? You ain't that. But we got to be men today. We got to be women today. We got to be revolutionaries today. We can't cut no corners, and we can't tiptoe the line. We can't straddle the fence, and we can't do no buck dancing and be no samboing. Not right now today, right? Matter of fact, since we on the topic before I go, I seen this, and I'm going to say it. All right. Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal are two coons. I don't care who Shaq done met. I don't care who Shaq know, where he done been with. So don't even come at me with that. Talking about who he know, who he saw, who took a picture with him, who he supported. He's a coon. What they just said about Kyrie Irving, they are cooning. That's what they're doing. Right? They mad at Kyrie because Kyrie stood down on Massa. And now Kyrie's in the playoff playing against old racist Boston. Up in Boston, the first city where the Federal Reserve at on that list, right? Yeah. And they talking about he complaining, he need to be quiet. They defending the fans, the racism. You know they call them all type of names. You know they is. They did all that on the Bill Russell them. Y'all ain't know that? So I'm just go and say, I know a lot of y'all like Shaq. Shaq is a coon. Shaq is officially a coon. He been around Charles Barkley too long. He been a coon, right? And listen, like I said, I don't care who he done supported. I don't care who he took pictures with. You do not get a pass in this day and time for being a coon. You don't get a pass, all right? When you side with the Jews against us for anything. Yeah, go and Google it. They got them all live. I listened at it myself. I said, look at these coons. Look at these coons. On TNT. Who is Turner Network? That's a Jew. Y'all knew that, didn't it? That TNT is ran by the Jews, right? The Zionists. Rather, let's bring a distinction on them. Yeah. So listen. Don't inbox me. I don't want to see you post nothing. Don't comment on my video talking about something. He supported such and such. I don't give a damn. Just because you support somebody, take a picture with somebody, you do not get a pass for turning into a coon, or you was already a coon. You do not get a pass. That's the problem with us. We want to give passes. You don't get no pass. When you side with the enemy against our people, we don't give a damn what you done did. That's what you don't do. That means you're a traitor. You just leave it alone. No comment. I ain't got no comment on it. If you feel like that. But they say he need to stop crying. See, we ain't talk about Charles Barkley. If probably besides O.J. Simpson, Charles Barkley probably the biggest coon we ever saw in this time period, the last 100 years. He probably the biggest coon we ever saw. I don't care what he donated to no school. I don't care. Right? That's nothing. That's a tax write-off. That don't mean he ain't got no good in his heart to do something for our people, but he's still a coon, though. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all know that man from the Django Unchained? Y'all remember that movie? Django? Jamie Foxx, Samuel L. Jackson. Charles Barkley, Samuel L. Jackson in that movie. That's him. Right? And Shaq looked like he vying for that spot too. But I just want to talk about that. I know we don't talk about that, but business is warfare. They doing that because that's their boss. They gonna defend their boss as master. They might was prompt to do it. They work for the Jews. Being on TNE Network, Shaq worked for them folks. That's a job. Charles Barkley worked for them folks. And you see as a white man at the head anchor, earning on TNT. Turner Networks, them Jews. Right? So you don't, in this day and time, in 2022, we are not allowing any coonism going on. If you coon, if you sambo, if you buck dance, we calling you out. And if anybody so-called conscious try to defend them coons, we're going to put you in the same box. You're going to be a coon too. If you defend a coon, you a coon. Period. Period. If you a coon, if you defend a coon, you's a coon. Talking about who he supported, who he shook hands with, who cares? What that got to do with him being a coon? Huh? President shake hands with everybody, straight up snake. It don't stop him from being a snake. Huh? Joe Biden going around shaking hands with all the rulers in the league. He just met with Putin. They shook hands. They don't like each other. Took pictures. Did an interview. Huh? Didn't the Bushes have pictures with Osama bin Laden? Gaddafi shaking their hand? Taking pictures with them? What that mean? Mean a damn thing. That's what it don't mean nothing. Man, let me get over here, man. But listen, y'all get me excited, bro. With that being said, man, subscribe to Forward Money Network, man. We the best thing going. We the future of money business and banking. We the future. We raising the standard. We setting the standard. When it comes to talking about continents, money, banking, and all that stuff, we setting the standard. We raising the bar. We ain't got no holds barred, taking no prisoners. Right? So we setting the standard and we raising and we sounding from the mountaintop the truth. Like my spiritual father told us to. He said, get the truth, stand up on the truth on the mountaintop. And screaming from the mountaintop. That's what he said. July the 4th of 2020 at the Criteria in the garden. He said it. Those that know the truth, stand up on it, screaming from the mountaintop. That's what he said. I'm just doing what he said. Now, you got a problem with me. Yeah, you got a problem with my teacher. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, brother, he ain't go. You come on, he ain't go about the punks and scissors and faggots. Whatever. Right? Don't act like that then. Can't nobody call you something you're not. Right? And that was a general statement. Okay? But it's 2022, man. And we almost halfway through it this year, already. What you think 2023 gonna look like? It's 2022. Right? We ain't got no time to play and tiptoeing and pussyfooting around. We got to walk hard. We got to be everywhere you see. You got to see a lion. You got to see a God. Everywhere you look, you got to be God. Oh, God, that's God. That's God. God. Black gods everywhere. So you got to see. We got to exercise that black God protocol. In a black God protocol, you do not side with the enemy against your people. Just don't do that. Right? So, with that being said, all right, we'll see y'all in the morning. We out of here, family. Assalamu alaikum.
I would like to see at least 100 millionaires among the Muslims in Chicago. If you're rich, I'm rich. you about the needs of a nation. But if you poor and we poor, hell man, we can't be around here poor. I want to see rich Muslims